Hi everybody, welcome to the Bootstrap version of the fitzNewsArchive page. So let me show you real quick what I've started off to do for you, and then we'll just kind of go from there. What I have right now is I have the Bootstrap template, the starter template in there, and then I've reused from our archive page here, I've reused a couple of different things. I've reused our fitznews CSS style sheet, where you see the link tag up top here. And then I've also gone and I've divided our page. I have our header, nav, Jumbotron, and then, of course, our div with the class container is actually Bootstrap class. Although we use that on the non-Bootstrap page, it still works on Bootstrap, of course. And then I have our footer as well. So our page is all divided up. So let's go ahead and start with the code here. We're going to work most of the time here inside of container. So we're going to go ahead first and we're going to just create a div where everything's going to go here, and it'll be similar to the other page, where this is going to be the video container here. And we're going to set it up in a very similar manner to the Flexbox display. But in Bootstrap, it's a little bit different. So in Bootstrap, you have a dflex class, which sets up a Flexbox display. And then in the same way that we had to justify our content center, we have to go ahead and do that here as well. But there's a class. We don't have to write the CSS. We have a dflex and a justify content center to make that all happen for us. So next up is... if you look at the other page, you notice it was probably set up as a card sort of deal. We are indeed going to do card setup. So div with a class of card, just to start, and then we'll comment this up as well. And we'll say that that's our close of card. And as you do this, you're going to really appreciate having some of these comments, because the more that you get here, you're going to copy this card setup and replace the iframe is what you're going to do, and then it gets really confusing. It can get really messed up if you're not careful. So our card here, we are going to add a bunch of different classes. We're going to utilize the Bootstrap responsive grid system. Column, and we're going to say at the large screen size, we want this to be 4 columns. At the medium screen size, we want this to indeed be 6 columns. And then at the small screen size, we want this to be all 12. So this is responsive. Large screen is going to be 3 per line. Medium screen, it'll be 2 per line, and small screen will be 1 per line. So within our card here, we want our card header, and we want that to be, we're just going to put date, because we're going to set that up to say whatever date the episode of fitznews we're going to store is going to be. And then we're just going to put on our iframe tag as a placeholder. And then we'll do our card body. And inside of card body, what we'll do is we'll say with an H4 here, we want to say that that is a card title. And we'll say, let's see, we'll just name the episode. We'll say if we want anything specific about that, we can do that. And then with a paragraph tag, we're going to do card text. And then in here, we'll just go ahead and say this is our description. of whatever episode we're doing. So we have one mistake, and I apologize. As opposed to a div right here, we actually want that to be an H3. And then that changes. That's about what we want it to look like. As far as our H3 here, let's go ahead and add two different things. We'll do our BG info to change it. And then text light, as opposed to, well, actually, that does go ahead and make it kind of white-ish. It should be like the grayish color. So that's our card setup right here. Just a similar setup to kind of what we've done in the past, I suppose. We can actually do a card footer as well. Let's just double check. Card body. Let's put a card footer. Card footer. And I like card footer because of the sizing. And we'll say... And we'll see. Maybe we don't want to necessarily do the footer, but I guess we'll see how it goes when we get there. And we'll just go ahead and save that. So what we have here, we'll put a couple in here just so you can see. And we copy down a close of card. And when you do this, I want definitely a space between. So you can see where each card goes real quickly. And we'll put 5 in there total. I think that's 5. I guess we'll see. Oh, and I just noticed we have kind of a problem. Let's go ahead and preview this here. And you see that our setup isn't quite working. Everything is in a line. We forgot a property. So up in our Flexbox display, right here for deflex, justify content center, we want, whoopsies, we want our flex wrap. You could go no wrap, but we just indeed want flex wrap. Because when we put flex wrap on there, it does the thing that we want it to do. I guess I have 6, not 5, my fault. So we have the large screen size, we have 3 across. The medium screen size is 2 across for like a tablet. And then a cell phone is indeed 1. So you can see all those breakpoints as it goes. So now, one thing that you all know that I dislike is when things touch each other. The side-to-side spacing is not a lot we can do with, because when we move that, what happens is then our spacing is off. So the top to bottom, though, we can definitely affect. So up in the top, sorry, wrong button. What we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of style tag. And there's some things you just can't change with Bootstrap. So, like the color, you'll never be able to change the color in CSS like this. However, what you can do is we're going to specify a bottom margin of 2VH. And you see that that actually did indeed change our margin. So if we set it to like 7, you'll see that the margin gets larger. That's a lot. So let's go with 2 and call that one good. The other thing that we can do a little bit up here is with our iframe. I originally thought about adding a card image class to this, but it didn't exactly do what I wanted it to do. So what we're going to do here is, for always, we're going to display things as a block. We're going to say that we want the width to be 100% in this case. And then we're going to say that we want the height. Generally, I know for things I don't specify width and a height, but iframe is different. So what I came up with is 28 VH, and then you can see the space of the iframe actually expand. So if we go 8 real quick, and you look over here on the right, it gets really small. But 28, I think, is probably just a good overall size. So that's what we get right here. It looks pretty nice across all of our different platforms. We could probably add more stuff, but we're not going to for that. So now what I have there is another double check. And this is going to be the process you do for both pages. We have our Fitz News here, and we have our Share tab. Just as I'm sure that we've done this all before, with our embed code, we're going to go ahead, we're going to copy our embed code for this video. And when you put it on, we already have a spot that it's going to go. So on our first card right here, it is going to go ahead and replace our iframe tags right here. So the one thing you have to do is they go and they set a definite width and height for this iframe. We do not want to take and accept what they have done. We want to indeed do what we have done. So we go ahead and we take that off. Now, with the larger screen sizes, you do get a little bit of non-video black color around the outside. But I think overall, this probably works out to be just fine. On the smaller screen size, it looks really nice. And it's pretty solid overall. So that is indeed our Flexbox setup. I think that this came out pretty nicely. And I think it would be up to you really at this point which way you would rather go. So good luck, and we'll see you for the next video shortly.